This is Wendy at dcshower@aol.com, and this is my presentation. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Dr. Wendy Shower. I'm a chiropractor in Olympia, and I am the author of The 7 Steps to Amazing Health. I've been in practice for 23 years, and I'm seeing a trend in people's bodies and spines that I'm not really happy about. When I started practice, people's pain levels maybe 4 or 5. We'd adjust them and they get better. And then they go on their merry way and I didn't usually see them again. Now, all these years later, I'm seeing people with pain of a 7 or an 8, which is really high on that pain scale, and it's now chronic. We adjust them and they're not making the change that needs to happen. And that, in my world, is not a good thing. And that's one of the reasons why is my talk today. Sitting and computer posture. I am an educational chiropractor. I like to give information to my patients so that they know what is happening to their bodies and what can they do to get themselves better. I like to empower them with knowledge so they can take that information, change their body, and run with it. And I see amazing changes when I give that information. In November 2000, I was adjusting a very large patient. He was probably 6'6", 300 and some pounds. And I had him on his side because I was going to work on his low back. And I put a force into his body to get movement into his spine, and nothing budged. He was like concrete. All the force that was supposed to go into him went back into my back, straining my back. Now I'm starting to have some back pain. It wasn't bad, it was mild, and I could still do my job, but nonetheless, I had back pain. Now it's December, and I'm at home with my family. I'm sitting in one of those papasan chairs, that little half-moon chair with a little stand, and I'm sitting in there cross-legged, and I am comfy. And we're sitting there, we're eating, we're opening presents, we're having a good time. And I probably got up maybe once or twice over a 3 and some hour period. At the end of the night, I go to get up, and I can't move. My back is in spasm, and I'm in a lot of pain. And I thought, okay, if I just go get a good night's rest, get straight, my back will unwind and I'll be good in the morning. Well, I woke up and that wasn't the truth. I still had a lot of spasm, like that grabby, intense pain. And that started my 3-year journey of chronic back pain. Now, I would never want to go back there again, but it made me a much better chiropractor. I had this intense thirst for knowledge on what can be done to make a change in people's bodies, and why do we really have that pain that keeps going? $86 billion are spent each year treating back pain. That's $86 billion a year to treat back pain. That is a huge number. And the number one reason why people miss work, back pain. So both of those are way too high, and I feel as a chiropractor I need to be doing something about that. And I think that education is the biggest piece. So, does any of this look familiar to you? This is somebody at their computer, all slouched over. We've been taught probably throughout our life, stand up straight, stand up straight. And we think, why do we need to stand up straight? It's like, I don't care if I don't look right. Well, as I was going through a lot of research on what the ill effects of sitting are, I was amazed. I couldn't believe the changes that happen in our body from sitting at a computer. So, here's the effects of sitting. We've got an increased risk of heart disease, high blood pressure, elevated cholesterol. I'm thinking about how many people out in the world are on cholesterol-lowering meds or blood pressure-lowering medications when maybe all they need to do is get out of their desk and move a little bit more? How about decreased insulin response, which leads to diabetes? Increased risk of colon cancer, poor circulation, soft bones, muscle weakness. One of the sites that I was looking at didn't say muscle weakness, they said mushy muscles. I don't know about you, I I don't really want to have mushy muscles. It's hard enough as I age to keep myself strong, but just, you don't need mushy muscles. Disc damage, disc irritation, disc herniations, those will cause you a lot of pain. Inflexible spine, once you get stuck in that position, you can't come back upright. Neck pain, back pain, headaches, arm pain, numbness, tingling, leg pain, fatigue, and foggy brain. That is a huge list. It goes beyond looking good. This is affecting your whole body and your health. So let's do a little experiment. I'm going to have you, just where you're seated, roll your shoulders back, and I'm going to have you take a big breath in. Go ahead, take a breath. And let it all out. Now I'm going to have you take another breath, and I really want you to pay attention to how much air expands into your chest and your abdomen. So take a breath in again, and all the way out. Now, go into your computer posture. I have you just have a little bit of a slouch to you, and now try to take that deep breath in again. I don't know about you, I can only get maybe a fourth to a half of what I was getting when my posture was upright. So there are so many times that people come to me, Dr. Wendy, I know I'm supposed to exercise, but I'm so tired at the end of the day. I go home and I get on the couch and that's where I'm at. Well, so if you think about it, if you're stuck in that posture for 8 hours a day, maybe even 5 hours a day, you're not able to expand and to get that oxygen into your body. Don't you think maybe you're going to be a little fatigued, maybe a little foggy brained, that you're not going to feel so well? So we think, I'm exhausted for no reason because I sat on my tush all day long. Why am I so tired? Maybe that lack of oxygen is the key. I have a patient who was coming to me for neck and back pain, and we were doing everything that we could to get her out of this, and nothing was working. And I was getting a little frustrated. I'm like, okay, I'm missing something. And I said, okay, there's something in her world. How are you at your computer? Dr. Wendy, I'm great. My shoulders are back, my elbows are to my side, I have great computer posture. In my head, I didn't want to say, I think you're lying, because I didn't think she was lying, I just think maybe she was unaware. So I said, humor me. I'm going to have you, or would you please, have one of your coworkers sneak in and take a picture when you're not looking. I want to see what you look like when you are fully unaware of what's going on. And she says, I don't know why I will humor you, I'll take the picture, but I know I have good posture. So she comes in the next visit, head down. If she was a little puppy, her tail would be between her legs. And she shows me this picture. And I don't know who was more appalled, her or me. This is what she looked like. It was the worst posture I have ever seen. And she said, I'm so embarrassed. She says, I swore during the day I had upright posture. I'm like, pictures don't lie. She took that picture and she stuck it at her computer, and it was her reminder to sit upright. And lo and behold, her neck and her back pain went away, and it hasn't returned. That picture of her posture was such a huge, 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 huge piece. So let's do some anatomy. What I'm going to have you do is take a piece of paper, and I'm going to have you draw a line down the center. So you've got two parts, two columns. On the left-hand side, I'm going to have you write the word tonic muscles. T-O-N-I-C, muscles. And now on the right side, I'm going to have you write phasic muscles. P-H-A-S-I-C, muscles. I'm going to go through some characteristics of these two type muscles, and if you'll just write those characteristics down, then you'll get a better picture of what's really happening to your body and then what you can do to change that. Our tonic muscles are the muscles that we were born with. They're the muscles that flex us. So they put us into that fetal position. They tend to be our dominant muscles, our overactive. They're the first ones to kick in. They're our overachievers. They want to just go, go, go. They tend to be the most tight and the shortened muscles. So if you think of your hamstring, like how many times can you stretch your hamstring in a day and it's always tight? I hear that all the time. I stretch it, it's always tight. Those are your tonic muscles. They always want to stay tight. So those examples of those muscles are going to be your chest muscles. They're going to pull you forward. They're your hip flexors, which are going to put you into that flexed or bent position here. You've got your hamstrings. You've got some of your quads. You've got your outer neck muscles that pull tight. Those are the tonic muscles. Now we've got our phasic muscles. These are the muscles that we have to work. We have to earn them. They are the muscles that are developing when we first, as a baby, learn how to pick our head up, how we learn to crawl, and then learn to walk. Those are the muscles we have to use in order for them to work. Those muscles tend to be the underachievers. They're weaker. They don't work first. The tonic muscles, they're raring to go. The phasic muscles, you have to kick them in to get them to go. So examples of those are going to be your deep neck muscles. So if you're like this, they're the muscles that bring you back in, that keep you all tight and upright. Your middle back muscles, those work to hold you upright. Some of the outer part of the leg, and then our rear end. So in my world, there's a term called glute amnesia. And that's exactly what it sounds like. Your buns forget how to fire. And we think, how can a muscle not remember how to work? Well, remember, if our hip flexors are the ones kicking in, they're running a marathon. These guys back here are eating bonbons on the couch doing nothing. So these are the muscles that we have to work in order to keep us going. So once we know about those muscles and what they do for us, then we're able to figure out how, with our computer posture, what do we need to do to get ourselves better so that we don't go into this list of problems. So our computer posture pulls us into that forward position, which is activating those tonic muscles even more. So it's pulling us more forward, and now our phasic muscles are even getting weaker. So we now are losing the battle with gravity. Gravity's winning and pulling us more forward. And Lord knows, gravity gets us in other places. I don't need it getting my spine. I recently just saw a picture of my mom and my aunt, her sister. And my mom and I kind of have this role reversal where I'm like, Mom, sit up straight. Mom, stand up straight. So she's heard it for 23 years. So she's kind of ingrained in being upright. So in this picture, I see my mom having a 72-ish years old, seeing her with really good posture for her age. And then I saw my aunt. And my aunt, I can't even get myself into the position because the curve in her spine was horrible and disfiguring. And I felt so bad for her because I know she's in a lot of pain. And it probably will be a year or two and she'll be walking with a cane because she will be so bent over. My aunt was a secretary her entire life. And she was a great employee, and she sat at her desk and typed for hours and hours. And she didn't realize what was happening to her because it was so slow to happen. And I look at her and my heart goes out to her because I don't want anybody to have this posture like my aunt. So what do we do with information? Now we know we got these tonic muscles and we got these phasic muscles, and I know the poor posture is giving me a whole bunch of problems, but now what do I do? A lot of times when people try to sit up straight, it only lasts for a moment and it bounces back because our tonic muscles are way too tight, our phasic muscles are way too weak. So in our next segment, I am going to teach you how to stretch out the tight muscles and start to strengthen the weaker muscles, all while you're at your computer at your desk. It's not going to take minutes or hours even. It's going to take seconds to make a change into your brain that's going to give you better posture. It's going to make you feel better. It's going to lessen your risk of all these diseases, and you're going to look good.